This will unlock the Buccaneers. A new article from ESPN has revealed an X factor, the X factor for this upcoming season from the Buccaneers. A player who didn't get his big chance last year, was cut short by an injury, is now looking for comeback time, is looking to prove himself that he belongs with the future of the Buccaneers, not just for one season. I'm Sebastian with Buccaneers Digest. Welcome back, guys. I really want to talk about this guy and this player, but first, before we get to it, subscribe. 95% of viewers are not subscribed, but that's okay because you just got to hit the bell, hit the button, and join Bucs Digest here. We're talking all things Buccaneers updates and articles and just games, live streams. You know it. Just join the crew. We're right here, baby. But anyway, what we need to talk about right now is this really impressive player, because he finally gets talked about from Ben Solek at ESPN. Mentioned the linebacker 2 position was an issue in coverage and run defense last year, as SirVocea Dennis, early season shoulder injury left KJ Britt, JJ Russell, and even veteran Deion Jones filling the spot. That obviously was not really what we were looking for in the linebacker 2 spot, and left us quite vulnerable. So who are we talking about? We're talking about SirVocea Dennis. This guy is an absolute stud of a young player, and he's really you can tell from the coaches and how much faith they have in him in not drafting a linebacker this past draft, and not really doing a ton with linebacking this offseason. I mean, we've had a couple of guys like John Bullock and Nick Jackson, undrafted free agent guys, do pretty well in the preseason and training camp. But overall, a lot of faith is being put in this guy and his ability to really be the future of the Buccaneers linebacking room. He, played 4 games last year, but then that was really about it before his shoulder injury kind of sidelined him for the rest of the year. Really bit of a bummer, because we want to see what this guy is capable of. We don't want to, have him out too much of his young career, because there's a lot of potential here. He's really good in pass protection, which is definitely something that we need, who can cover from sideline to sideline and is a very vertical and horizontal threat to cover the field. And that's what SirVocea was showing before. We had to kind of put in the other guys, who none of those guys are on the team right now. And that's kind of saying, like, listen, man, you are that dude, and we're putting all the chips in your bag. So Adam Slavin from Pewter Report had to say about SirVocea Dennis: the Bucs are high on Dennis's ability, which is why they chose not to use any draft picks at the position, and possessing plus instincts and range as a coverage linebacker. He showcased his abilities earlier this offseason during OTAs. He has become adept at picking off passes in practices, in past training camps, and mini camps. I love this. I completely agree that what Dennis has shown in the few times that he's been starting with the Bucs has really been impressive. He's flying over the field. I'm seeing him tackle guys. Preseason, he wasn't given a ton of reps, just because he's a starter. They don't want to put him in for too often. So he was mostly there just for just a little bit. But overall, you can tell he just runs at a different speed than some of these other guys that he was playing with, the third stringer and fourth stringer guys. And overall, I'm thrilled to have him here. He looks healthy. He looks strong. And it's going to be really helpful. And it's definitely a point of noting that, it's not like a Lavonte David or a Kalijah Kancey that ESPN is noting as the X factor. It's Dennis. And I think that the reason is because the youth in the linebacking room has always... It's what we need to really get things going. Lavonte has a lot of great abilities. He has great ball instincts. I mean, one of the best linebackers of all time. But he's starting to slow down a little bit. I mean, not to an egregious amount. That's why we want to keep bringing him back. His leadership intangibles are bar none. And just the example of how much he can teach other guys and really lead the defense is just, you can't get that from any other player on the Bucs right now. And so to have Dennis learn from David and hopefully be just a great duo, because we were hoping Devin White was going to be that guy to really take the reins from Lavonte David. I mean, we'll always be thankful for what Devin White did in the Super Bowl run, but he really did not pan out. And now you can see, with Devin White, he's just trying to make a practice squad or a 53-man roster in general, much less be, a superstar or a mainstay starter. So Dennis is our linebacker too, and that's not even in question. He is really like made his mark on the coaching staff, and everybody's saying like, yeah, like we're not even bothering drafting another guy. I was really of the opinion, and this is because I really wasn't paying attention to Dennis as much as I should have been, that we should have drafted a linebacker in the first round. And that really, or because otherwise, like the rest of the linebacking room from this past draft, not the deepest. Jahad Campbell was the guy that I wanted. The Eagles picked him, which told me like, okay, he is good because, Howie Roseman is barely missing on any draft picks he makes. But overall, it's okay because the Bucs have faith that Dennis can be just as good, if not better, than Jahad. And I trust this staff. They have proven to me over and over that they have the best interests in mind. They're really good at developing talent, and they're not really into making big splash moves or overdrafting guys because of position need. They want to take the best players, which I really respect. Like, none of us were expecting Igbuka because our receiver room's already really good. But I mean, now we're super thankful that we took Igbuka because now we have Mike Evans and Igbuka to help mainstay that receiver room while Godwin gets better, while Joe McMillan gets better, and all that good stuff. And Tez Johnson, not to mention, is really going to be helpful this first month or so of the season. But with Dennis, he's the X factor because we know that we're going to get good play from Lavonte David. No matter how old he is, with 35 years old, he's obviously figuring out if he wants to retire, if he wants to keep playing. But Dennis is really trying to prove that, like, okay, once Lavonte leaves, I'm the guy. I'm the one that you want to be, continuing that legacy going forward. And it's going to be great to see him prove that. Then Ben Solak from ESPN, who was, writing the X Factor article, went on to say that Tampa Bay let Britt and Russell walk. He's talking about J.J. Russell and Kenny Britt for the linebacking room. And the team signed only Anthony Walker Jr. for depth. It then released Walker before the 53-man roster cut-down deadline. It's hard to read this as anything but a ringing endorsement for Dennis's health and preparedness to fill the starting spot opposite Lavonte David. I completely agree, and it's worth noting, in the 4 games that he played, he wasn't like going crazy on tackles or anything, but he had a solid grade. 67.3 is around the average mark, a little bit above average, and listen, that's all we're asking for. We're not asking for some world beater. We have that with Lavonte. If you have just an above average linebacker opposite him, you're going to go places. And as long as he can stay healthy, and that's just, it's like the crux of like the Buccaneers' success, it feels like. If we're not healthy, our ceiling is going to be like the divisional round. But if we can stay healthy, if we can push through and have great perseverance and resilience, then our guys will go far. These guys will perform and rise up to the moment. It's just we got to have our starters out there, especially in this linebacking room. Lavonte is making a push for that second ring. Mike Evans is making a push for that second ring right here at the end because they know that this team is capable of it. And Dennis has to stay healthy. He has to be the guy that says, okay, if you're down, if like Lavonte goes down for any reason or needs to take a game off to get healthy or something, that we can rely on Dennis to hold the fort. And that's why he is the X factor. The youth, the explosiveness, the ball skills, and just the way he can cover the field, just like Lavonte can. If he can learn and just really gain that experience with Lavonte right next to him, it'll be invaluable. It'll be exactly what the Bucs need to build for the future. And I don't want to have to worry about, once again, the linebacking depth, having to bring in John Bullock as a linebacker too, or Nick Jackson. While they performed well in the preseason, that's the preseason. I want to be able to say, Dennis has it, and don't worry about it. That's how it was with Devin White for a little bit before, obviously, he fell off and wasn't able to replicate what he did his sophomore year. Now it's Dennis's time, because he was drafted in 2023 as a 5th-round pick, and he overall didn't play in 2023, but in 2024 that was his time to be the next linebacker, and then he got hurt with his shoulder injury. So this is going to be the breakout season if he can stay healthy, and like the quotes we've already mentioned, that we're not really hanging on to a lot of backup linebackers. It's an endorsement, hopefully, of his health and how he's been playing in training camp and everything. That means that they're expecting big things out of him. They didn't draft another guy. They didn't draft Jahad Campbell. They said, we're going to get the wide receiver depth, and then we're prepared for Dennis to really bring in this next era of linebacking, the linebacking room, which, considering the history of the Buccaneers and our linebackers, that's quite the strong praise. And you gotta really look out for number 8 on the Buccaneers, because he's he's looking to help Lavonte and bring that legacy forward. As you know, whenever Lavonte decides to retire, I know we're all hoping it's not the last year. It's probably going to be the last year, but we don't know. But overall, we have a good feeling that the Bucs trust SirVocea Dennis. And if they trust him, then I trust him. But the question is for you guys right now, what do you think of SirVocea Dennis? Are you excited to see what he has to offer the team? Do you think that he has what it takes to learn from Lavonte and continue the legacy of the Buccaneers? Or are you worried about the linebacking depth, that we don't really have much going on right now behind these guys, that, you know, injury-wise, the Bucs struggle with it? Just let me know where your feelings are with this linebacking room. Is it confidence? Is it worry? Let me know. I feel confident, but you know, it's better to be optimistic than be constantly worrying. I always like to say, don't borrow trouble. You know, learn that from my family. And right now, these guys are healthy and they're ready to go. And I can't wait to see them really ball out week 1 against Atlanta. But let me know down below. Subscribe, comment, all those good things, and I will see y'all for the next video.